What is going on with you, YouTube? This is Regular Dave coming at you with another video. Yes, man, NBA 2K14 Next Gen finally got my HDMI splitter so I can record my gameplay. Don't forget to click that like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you're brand new, because a lot of Next Gen gameplay will be coming out. Got all kinds of stuff. All right, man, let's jump into it. Apparently, I like asking questions in my titles, man. Is NBA 2K14 Next Generation the best simulation sports game of all time? Well, I'll give you my answer at the end on what I think. I'm gonna go over my likes and dislikes with the game, tell you, and actually show you some things I don't really care for, and then we'll talk about what I like about the game. I'm not gonna be long. My dislike list isn't very long. This game has a lot of things going for it and a couple going against it, but the couple things that are going against it are kind of, you know, not game killers, but, you know, some realistic aspects that I definitely want to see cleaned up going forward. All right, I'm gonna show you guys real quick. One thing I dislike about this game is the rebounding. I didn't like the rebounding on the last generation, and I still feel like the ball has a mind of its own. It just chooses whose hand it wants to go to, while we know in real life, positioning is what is key in rebounding. Like, JaVale McGee is in no position to grab that board. He's underneath the basket, and it's like the ball knows, the ball takes into account stats and who averages 10, 12 rebounds a game, and sometimes just magically shows up in their hands, when realistically, we know they're good rebounders because of positioning. Look at somebody like Kevin Love, who's not super athletic, but through positioning, players like him, Marc Gasol, people who can't jump over the backboard, still, you know what I mean, are double-double machines because of their understanding for positioning. 2K just ignores that. The ball ends up, it's like the ball has basically a mind of its own, says, okay, well, this team averages this many offensive rebounds, so this can't possibly be an offensive rebound. Let's go in the defender's hand. That happens too often. That's a pretty big simulation part of basketball, is rebounding, and it's a part that they need to get fixed. Now, is it a game breaker? Not by any means, but I want to see that cleaned up. Another thing, which I don't have video on, quite a few times it happened, I wasn't able to record, but there was things that I was able to forgive in past generations, that in this next generation that we're embarking upon, I'm not going to be so easy to forgive. I don't think certain things are acceptable. There's been a couple times where I've had blocked shots. Somebody's blocked my shot. I blocked somebody's shot, went and looked at the replay, and my hand didn't touch the ball at all. It was, you know, 3-4 inches away from the ball, and it's like the ball had a force field to show the block. Now, Xbox 360, PS3, PS2, regular Xbox, I could forgive that, chalk it up to video games. But with the technology we're seeing, how the ball is actually, you know, rotating in their hand when they're dribbling, I don't think it's far-fetched to get that eliminated from the game, because to me, what that does is it takes away from the integrity of the game. When you just miss a shot, you were this close to blocking it, right? You didn't actually get your hand on the ball or your hand on the pass, and the game still shows that you did. It takes away from the integrity when you do make the block. You know what I mean? What's the difference? Why does the game decide to, you know, show it sometimes and not show it others? Those are the two major things that I want cleaned up in the game going forward. Now, another thing, and this is not really gameplay wise, but we'll talk about it. I'm not big on the controls, man, because not a lot of times, I didn't play the current gen, the PS3 and Xbox 360 version of 2K. I said, I'm gonna wait. And I'm not used to this dribble stick and shoot stick being on the same stick. To me, it's just a silly way to do things. One of the cardinal sins of a video game is doing something that you don't want to do, and that happens every now and then with the whole dribble stick and shot stick being on the same stick. I'm not sure who thought that was a good idea, but it wasn't, and I'm quite sure they're gonna change that. All right, now we got my dislikes out the way. I'm not going to talk about modes. This is all about gameplay. I'm not going to talk about bugs, because there's a few of them in here. I'm talking about gameplay. Now we're getting into the things that I think the game does right, and why it is a conversation. Is this the greatest simulation sports game of all time? Primarily, it's because you have to play this game like basketball for you to be successful. That is, you know, realistic gameplay, man. You can't pick it up and play and start doing all these moves and lobs and shooting nothing but threes, and you're not gonna have a good time, man. You can't just pass the ball where you want to pass it. There has to be a passing lane. The homie called me and was like, yo, I'm not feeling that 2K. He's a casual gamer. I said, you're not feeling 2K? He was like, yeah, man, I can't even pass the ball. I said, oh, okay, I get it. Yo, there's these things called passing lanes. You might want to use them. This game is unforgivingly brutal if you don't play it like basketball, man. It's just going to be, you're going to have a turnover down the court every time. This gameplay I'm showing you is nothing important, but that just shows what I just did right there. And this is, I don't know how to play the game yet. I'm not going to even front. Now, it's still a learning process. But this game is unforgivingly brutal until you learn how to play and at least approach the game like it's a basketball game and not a video game. And I think that's one of the best things that a simulation sports title can do, is make you play the game accurate to the sport. As far as the passing lanes, that's a big one. They deny, somebody coming off a pick to try to get free to get the ball. A defender will deny him, and if you pass the ball, it's going to be a steal. Now, what I would like to see a little bit more of is like the players showing some kind of ball avoidance or whatever, so they could, get rid of the turnovers and the steals to, cover up the ball, or, I don't know. It just seems like the ball's loose just a little too much. But to me, it's a good sign in trying to make a realistic game, not trying to conform into video game standards and saying, yo, learn the game of basketball and you will be successful. The animations, which is part of realistic gameplay, are pretty flawless. This eco motion system that they're talking about, I'm definitely seeing what they were doing there. The game just looks outstanding. It looks as realistic as you're gonna get as far as animation wise. It looks as realistic you're gonna get for a video game. There's games that aren't quite there yet, may never get there. I don't know what kind of motion capture studio they have or what kind of technology they use, but whatever it is, it's outstanding. It's amazing. Just the idea of the players landing differently depending on where the defender, goes to defend when they shoot the ball. It shows up, man, and just makes the game look realistic. But at the end of the day, man, the thing I like most about the gameplay is that if you're playing against somebody who's running plays, knows what they're doing, respecting basketball, they have a outstanding advantage over you. And that's all you could ask for out of a simulation game, man, is that, it be played like the real sport. Now, all the extras on it, 2K, we already know they did that. Maybe I'll talk about that in a later video, but I'm just talking about gameplay right now. All the extras put the game over the top. So we're going to go over the final verdict, man. Is this the best simulation sports game of all time? I'm going to have to go yes, just because of the next generation. I feel like this is the first time a sports game has ever been a system seller. If somebody said, should I get a PS4 or Xbox1? I would say, yeah, man, you got to play that 2K next gen. I don't think that's ever happened with a sports game. I just feel like it represents basketball more than any other sport any other game has represented a sport in a video game. I know a lot of people who, my MLB The Show heads are going to take exception to that, but I personally feel like it's the best sports game I've ever played, and literally one of the best games I've ever played. They do have some issues to clean up, but they set a great foundation for the future. And if this is just the beginning of things to come in this next generation of gaming, man, I'm all the way in. Because at first I was like, yeah, is this next generation going to be really a next generation, or is it just, some hardware that could do a couple more things? But no, this game shows what the next generation can be, to me, more than any other game on any of these consoles, Xbox One and PS4. All right, I'm gonna end it here. I'm rambling a little bit, but let me know what you guys think in the comments, your issues, your gripes. Is it the greatest simulation of all time? I say yes. Don't be scared to disagree. I know y'all ain't scared of nothing anyway, but I'll get at you guys another time.